I will describe how students in my adult ESL class are influenced by the antecedents of motivation by Ortega. I will detail how their motivations influence their success in learning English. Here are 6 students who are in my summer course. Luis migrated to America from Venezuela due to political unrest in his country. He is working as a delivery driver. As an orientation, his main motivation is extrinsic and instrumental. He wants to get a better job. Luis works towards the tangible benefit of gaining better employment and puts pressure on himself to succeed. He wants to become more knowledgeable in English and integrate well with people in the U.S. Ada is Luis's mother. She works in a restaurant with other Spanish speakers. She's comfortable in her sphere. She works at learning the language, but is not concerned with getting everything correct. She wants to foster general friendships with people in the U.S. She often does not do her homework, so she has been less successful in her L2. Shen is from China. She was a therapist in her native city. She is strongly motivated to learn English because she wishes to advance in the language and become a therapist in the U.S. She hopes to be integrated into American culture. She's constantly working on her pronunciation and is a little intense about grammar sometimes. Shen wishes to become an influential member of the community. She loves learning English and also demonstrates high effort and investment in language learning. Flora is a multilingual learner. She was a nurse in Taiwan before she came to the U.S. She speaks 2 Chinese dialects as well as Vietnamese. She's doing very well with English grammar and pronunciation. Flora has an intrinsic motivation to learn, which Aludri describes as the motivation to engage in activities because she feels they're enjoyable and satisfying. Flora is a great help to May, who is the only Vietnamese speaker in the class. She's also willing to help explain difficult concepts to Chinese speakers who struggle in class, like Cindy. She speaks English with confidence. Flora demonstrates a genuine interest in learning the language in order to have closer ties with the community, as well as showing genuine kindness to our classroom community of English learners. Catherine is from Peru. She struggles with some anxiety, so learning the language is an uphill battle. Catherine has been living in the U.S. for 7 years. She relies on her daughter Isabella to help her understand the language. She wants to improve but doesn't practice her conversation. Unfortunately, Catherine has stopped coming to class. I hope she'll eventually develop the motivation needed to learn the language for herself so she can be comfortable in social situations. Even though Catherine stopped coming, she did have a positive experience sharing things that are important to her, such as her family and her native country. She experienced positive intergroup contact when class members cheered and clapped after her presentation. Cheng Su is a successful businessman from South Korea who enjoys skydiving and playing golf. He wants more knowledge and confidence when speaking English with his colleagues. Cheng Su works hard to be competent in his grammar and pronunciation. However, it's difficult for him to ask for help when he does not understand something. His motivation is less about enjoyment of the language and more about effort and investment. As a teacher, I'm learning the value of walking around the classroom to check if my students understand. It's also important to ask more advanced learners to help explain challenging concepts. Ortega explained that students gain more positive attitudes towards a task when paired with highly motivated peers. Ortega shared that student motivation can be boosted considerably when students are satisfied with their teachers and instruction and have positive attitudes about their classroom experience. I would like to read more about ways to motivate and support my students in their language learning.